Hey everybody, it's Mr. Lundquist here. It's been a while since I've done a video podcast, but know that with the first quarter upon us, kind of coming to a close today, I thought I'd give you kind of highlight a couple of things that went on this past quarter and talk about some things coming up that are really critical in the building. So, like I said, the end of the first quarter today, it's been great as we kind of started this year strong. Attendance is better than last year at this point, which is always a nice bump up, as we get through COVID and get past that. Nice to see that bump up in attendance. And that's just those that are not, whether it's unexcused or absences, medical ones where we look at, but really to see that people are coming back in the building and staying here and spend that time here is really nice to see. Over 55% of our students involved in a sport, activity, or a club just this quarter. I mean, how great is that? Generally, throughout the year, about 75% of our students are involved in some sort of activity, club, or athletic activity. So it's just really nice to see that improvement. Just that number right now, because the more we know students are engaged with school, the better off they do. The data just tells us that, right? When they're involved in school activities, they do better in school. They attend school, it improves their mental health. It's just better. We had record-breaking attendance at our homecoming dance and football game. I mean, it was nuts there. We didn't even have seating for everybody, right? And we had, the Hill had people on it, right? Always a place to go there, but just incredible attendance and support, whether it's at the parade, the dance. I mean, to me, that just showed the community coming together to support kids and support what we're doing here in the district. And so that was really exciting to see. We appreciate the support. We had some other amazing things I will tell you as a former cross-country runner myself, to see Joe Stoddard win state. I will tell you, running up in Wisconsin Rapids at the Ridges can be a tough course. It was a beautiful day, and Joe ran a great race and just did what he does. And it was so exciting to see him win that race and represent Mount Horeb so well. After, I know last year he was disappointed in that race, but State Journal had some stuff. But so just congratulations to him on that. Recently, if you saw a Golf Digest article about a record-breaking number of holes played in 1 year, you should dive into it or look it up, because it highlights our one and only boys coach, Nolan Krantz, for the work he does. If you've ever been to Norse and you see him pushing the golf cart, know that he is literally breaking world records with what he's doing. And he is such an amazing coach. He connects with kids. He's grown these programs. And we're so lucky to have him here involved, and not even just, golf, but he's able to be involved in so many things. And we're just really so lucky and privileged to have him. And an article to represent Mount Horeb well, and even himself. So kudos to Nolan. And if you see him, make sure you give him a pat on the back and congratulate him, because it's fun to see. We're getting into it. We're into this piece of the year. Today we have a kind of an activity celebration, a first quarter fall activity celebration that we're excited to celebrate students involved in all the activities that they're involved in. And then we're also going to have to see how our students can fare against our staff in volleyball. I will tell you, staff, we got crushed in the basketball game in the spring last year. So hopefully we can redeem ourselves a little bit better with a little volleyball later today during advisory. And again, just get students into the gym, just bring that school spirit back in. And so we're excited to do that. As the quarter comes to a close, as we kind of shift into the academic piece, one of the things I've shared in our newsletter has been about rolling grade books. And so I had a situation today, an example that was a great way to highlight why the rolling gradebook benefits students. Previously, many teachers had it where the first quarter was 40% of the semester grade, second quarter was 40% of the second grade, maybe a final was 20% or something like that. That's just an example. And so at the end of the quarter, students would be, slamming, getting all the, just dumping all their work, missing work. I want to make this up. I want to make this test up. And what you realize is that's stressful, right? That is a stressful time to make sure you can get that grade up, because it has an impact on that semester grade. It's not good for their mental health. I'll tell you, it's not good to be just dumping on teachers at the end. That's a ton of work, especially if they're reading papers. So what the rolling gradebook does is it essentially the quarter grade essentially serves as a progress report, kind of a check-in, official stop in there. But if a student has, let's say, a B+ right now in a class, and maybe they missed a couple things and they wanted to have a better grade, and maybe they didn't take advantage of some of the opportunities that they could have had to get that grade up, they still have the rest of the semester to kind of chip away and get that grade up. That first quarter, obviously, let's say it's a B+, they won't really want that A. that grade is now still a continuum. It doesn't start back at 0 where they're kind of continuing now for a second quarter. It just that continues that semester grade. And so maybe it's like, nope, so no, sorry, no longer can you make that up. You've had a couple weeks. There are deadlines. We do allow retakes and kids to make things up, but at some point, right, you got to close the book. Students have to move on, as do the teachers. And so this gives the students an opportunity to kind of show their learning, work on things, but have that semester grade be about what they've learned at the end of the semester and what they've grown, not kind of this weird balance. Because and every quarter isn't the same. If you're an AP student, third quarter is going to be a lot more work intensive and valuable. Fourth quarter does have the test in it, but then after the AP test, right, like things change, right? And a lot of it's review. So those things aren't balanced. And so that's why we have the rolling grade books. So know that you may not notice a huge difference, but quite frankly, it should benefit students in terms of giving that chance to continue to get better throughout the semester. And we've done all we can to support students with stat. We need students requesting teachers. Teachers will be requesting students, using that time wisely. I get a little concerned that some students aren't using that time. When I see missing homework, but you have stat every day, that's on you, right? I mean, I think that's on the student. You're not getting your work done. You're not using that time wisely. And at some point, there are consequences for the work. You sitting on your phone or, talking to friends and socializing, not getting the work you have done. That's not the social hour, right? That's time to get work done. And so they need to be using that time to, using it wisely to get work done. So please make sure you're reiterating it to your student. If they have missing work, I'd be asking them, what are you doing during stat? Where are you spending your time? Request teachers, focus on the work you have to do. Because there honestly should be no excuse to have missing work with the amount of we only have 5 class periods that 4 or 5 that we run a day. They have stat. Many students have study hall. Unfortunately, some even have 2. There's no excuse to not have work in. None. I don't. There at this point, work should be done, right? And much of it should be able to be done during the school day with a little at home. But if that's a problem, you need to think hard and fast about how you are spending your time during stat and study hall, and even advisory a little bit, right? You get done with a lesson and there's time to work. Put your phone down, quit socializing, and focus on work. And with that too, we've really tried to support kids. We still have teachers who get out, and so we've had that sub shortage is still there. And I will tell you, it's hard when we can't get subs to sub of the district or sub of the building. I think many districts are dealing with that. We also have a shortage of our supporting custodial staff, and so our resources are just different, right? We're having a difficult time finding and hiring, and even keeping our administrative assistants and our support staff and our paras and our custodians. Hence the operating referendum that's coming up, right? We're the only district since 2014. Every single district in this county has went to operating referendum and try to continue to meet the rising costs of what it takes to run a building. And we haven't done that one, Harb. And so hence why you're seeing that, right? We actually haven't went to operating referendum since 1999. So man, think about what gas cost in 1999. I was in high school. Cars, gas, all those things cost a different amount. And as a school, we've been just kind of absorbing those increases in costs with the same amount of money, right? And at some point, you kind of hit this ceiling where you no longer have the ability to run a building with the resources. We're using 23-year-old resources to run a building now, right? And things have gotten more expensive, as you know. And education hopefully has evolved in 23 years, and hopefully we're doing things a little different, and a little more of the times. And so please vote on Tuesday. When we compare ourselves to other, and Dr. Solano has a ton of kind of graphs and things on his Instagram account. He's posted, he's willing to share. Go to our website and you'll see that information on the district website. I've also linked it in our thing, but just make sure you understand all the facts to make your decision when you vote on Tuesday, because we want to make sure that we can attract and retain the best staff we can, because the students deserve to have the best teachers, not kind of the good teachers or let other school have it. We want to have the best, and we want to be able to keep the best. In order to do that, we have to, there are things that we may have to do that. And we just need to keep operating our buildings. We need to be able to keep these things running and not have to make some really tough choices about what's going to be sacrificed. And so take a look at the facts, go to the website, see all that information, and make your decision on Tuesday. But just make sure you vote on Tuesday. It's always make sure we want to see high voter turnout. That really gives us an indication too of kind of, I think, in this community where we're at. So thank you so much for engaging in that civic process on Tuesday. Also, Next week, we've got, well, I talked about the volleyball game today, school referendum, school musical next week. Bye Bye Birdie is playing, so make sure you go to our music site. I've had links in the newsletter as well, so go there, get your tickets if what's left. I don't imagine there's a ton left. I know I've got my tickets for Thursday night, so I'm excited to see that. We do have a Veterans Day event next Friday at 9:15, 9:30ish in the morning. Our normal Veterans Day event where our band, our choir, our orchestra, local veterans and people celebrate a really important day in our community. I'm always so proud to kind of walk the building. We have our Veterans Wall in town. We have that Veterans Memorial. It's a special place in Mount Horeb here to really support and remember our veterans. I've got a lot of family and friends who participated in the military or lost their lives or dealing with things from that. And so I just personally really appreciate the fact that these are things that this community values. So that's next Friday. It is streamed, so if being in a gym with 800 kids and some key members isn't your vibe, isn't your jam, we do have a link and we'll be sending that out. It will be in our newsletter today as well. Early release on the 14th. If you ever wonder what we're doing on early release days, it's a variety of things. A lot of it is professional development to make our practices better. We don't have a lot of time during the day to kind of make ourselves better. Like I said, we can't be teaching like it's 1999. We got to be teaching like it's 2022. Our students are going to be taking jobs that don't even exist yet. So our staff need to be at the forefront of what is best in educational practices and working together. And so a lot of it is we spend that time on those types of things, instructional practices to get better. So that's the 14th. And then Thanksgiving, 23rd, 24th, and 25th of November. Then we're almost in December. Time is flying. The weather was warm last week. Looks like it's starting to kind of get into that November weather, but a lot going on here. And I just always so appreciate the community support that we have here at Mount Horeb. I can appreciate all the things that the students bring in, the feedback we get from community. It's really valuable. I take it to heart and I make sure that we try to get better. We're not always perfect, but know that we want to get better, make sure that we serve this community the best that we possibly can. Our students deserve the best. We need to continue to get better and focus. So just thank you so much for the support in this community as we look to just grow and become better. So reach out if you have any questions. Please make sure that you vote on Tuesday. Get out and check out Bye Bye Birdie. Please either check out the stream of our Veterans Day event. We do have some community members that do come in to see in person. But we also know that we got a gym full of people and that's not everybody's thing. And so we really, invite those veterans to be here with us on that day if they're able to. So thank you so much as we jump into the second quarter and finish off this semester. Here we are in the place of November. I'm already thinking next year. I'm already working on schedule stuff for next year and course handbook and looking at next year's calendars. We are in the throes of planning for next year already. So which is always crazy to think from a principal perspective, but this is when it starts to plan for next year. And so, and then for the rest of the year, we're kind of navigating 2 school years. So have a great weekend. And we hope to see everybody around, and please reach out if you have other questions. Thanks so much. Bye now.